we're here again, guys. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games. Today we're going to talk about Hasbro's earnings and how they basically effed up. Yeah, so I actually took some time, read over and listened to the Hasbro's earnings call recently, 2-3 days ago. I think they released. But basically, by and large, they released terrible earnings. The core is they're saying like, oh, our consumers are very price sensitive, right? So for those that don't know, that's Wall Street talk to make it sound good for we raise the price and the consumer is not buying our product. So that's what that means. Now, how bad is it, right? So for the whole quarter, they're down 15% on earnings this quarter. Basically, if you read all the little paper or whatever, there's a bunch of things about adjusted earnings and non-GAAP. These are just BS, by the way. So non-GAAP stands for GAAP stands for general accepted accounting practices or principles, something like that. Basically, it's like the general way to do accounting. When people say non-GAAP, that just means, we're not going to follow that. We're not going to follow the generally accepted way to count the numbers. We're going to do it our own way, right? This is also very similar to like a lot of Wall Street. They'll say, oh, this is EBITDA, right? Earnings before your amortization, your depreciation, those kind of things. But those are part of your calculation as well. Anyways, tons of accounting and business talk that probably don't mean a lot to my audience here, but just understand whenever finance people say these words or they say things this way, they're trying to hide something from you. It's called financial engineering, right? They teach you how to do this as an accountant. Yeah, so part of this obviously is very common across the board. All retailers and everybody is having problems selling products because, we're going through a depression. This is what's going to happen. So, Wizards increasing pricing by 10 to 20% into a depression, recession, whatever you want to call it, probably not a smart idea in general, right? But I really started looking deeper into what's actually happening with earnings and everything, and I realized that Hasbro is highly dependent on Wizards, highly dependent on Wizards, and I recommend everybody go look at that. So I'm putting the links down in the comment in the description box below, so you can go read those reports yourself. It's not too bad. I guarantee you, it's graphic. It's like infographic basically. It's pretty easy to understand. But basically, if you look at, for example, year to date, you look at earnings, which is the only thing that really matters, you'll notice that Wizards is 80% of Hasbro's earnings profits. Basically, all of Wizard is pulling in what's actually earning money for Hasbro, right? So there's a lot of pressure on Wizards. And now if you take that into perspective and think about what's been happening with the product releases, schedules, etc., and all these promises of tripling profits over 3 years, now you kind of have an understanding of why Wizards doing this, because Hasbro has basically given them kind of like an ultimatum to do this, right? And they know Wizard has good profit margins versus the rest of the business, right? So first of all, what the fuck is going on with Hasbro's other IPs, man? Is there nobody wants another reskin of a Monopoly. They're buying all these entertainment IPs for no reason. And here's the thing, I've never even looked at any of this stuff, right? I am, full disclosure, I am a shareholder of Hasbro, so maybe that's why I'm a little bit pissed about this, more than pissed about this. But what is going on with the business they run? I mean, these guys are just a bunch of old farts who don't understand anything about business and what we're doing for the future. They're holding on to Monopoly like it's a cash cow, and they don't understand that if there's no innovation, you're not going to be able to get anything. You're not going to be able to get anywhere, right? Just understand, Hasbro is the owner of many small little IPs, companies, etc., and all of those IPs are just getting really old in the tooth, right? There's really no new IPs coming out of these other arms or branches of Hasbro. So think about what's it called, basically the makers of Battleship, Connect 4, those kind of things. Battleship has always been Battleship. Connect 4 is Connect 4. There's no innovation in that arm at all. You're just selling more Connect 4 every year. You know why that doesn't work? Because everybody and their grandma has a version of Connect 4, Battleship, Scrabble, Monopoly. I've been to a lot of old people's houses, right? As a kid, I would just go to, grandparents' houses and stuff like that. Guess what they have? Battleship, Monopoly, fucking Connect 4 everywhere. You don't need to buy another copy. You understand why your IP is not selling? The reason is because everybody has it. Even I, as a kid, I bought freaking Pokemon Monopoly when I was really into, this is like, I was like, what, 12? Something like that? Of course, you buy it, but I'm never going to buy another Monopoly. In fact, I was playing Pokemon Monopoly with a bunch of my friends in college. That game probably cost me $24 total to buy, and I'm going to have it forever. My kid, when she grows up, she's going to be playing my old version of Pokemon fucking Monopoly. You can't make money on this stuff. You got to invent new IPs, right? For example, Hasbro did do some of this stuff. They brought Cranium, right? The rights to Cranium, whatever, the company, etc. I think they paid like 70-something million for it. What did they get out of it? They basically made the whole brand defunct, right? After they purchased it, absorbed into Hasbro. Where's the innovation in that game? Are the other game creators going to make any new games? If you look at indie game, like for example, Catan. Catan doesn't just keep selling Settlers of Catan, the base edition, every single fucking year and make money. They can't do that. They sell Catan, and honestly, because they're such a new game, even if they did that, they still have like 20, 30 years to be able to reach every single market in the world to be able to sell their game, right? But they don't even do that. They sell expansions all the time. There's like seafarers, towns and lords and knights and cities and knights, whatever, right? Tons of expansions for Catan. And I'm sure the guys who are behind Catan are like, you know what? Once you milk this cash cow for a while, you make a new game. You think of a new IP, you make a new game, you do something new. Magic, for example, has new sets all the time. I mean, for all the crap that we give Wizards about too many sets, too many products, too many of this, too many of that, at least they have new products. At least they're always thinking of new ways to do something. At least there's like Warhammer decks and they're thinking about new ways to collaborate with what people care about today. What is Hasbro doing? Just reskinning Monopoly. You don't need another version of that stuff. They mentioned WOTC, Wizard of the Coast, is on track to be Hasbro's first $1 billion brand. And they want to build 3 of these over the next whatever years. Okay. For Wizards, that seems pretty easy. Because again, this company has a lot of innovation. This subsidiary has a lot of innovation. They're pushing forward. What are the other subsidiaries doing, right? The profit margin on the other stuff is like super terrible, right? So if you look at, for example, like the Q1 revenue for like other divisions, the revenue is like 673 million, right? This is for their like products division, which I guess means all the toys and stuff that they sell that's not Magic. Guess how much revenue they made on 673 million? Sorry, guess how much profit they made on that? 9 million. It's not even like a percent, dude. It's like 1.5% profit margin. Are you kidding me? It's insanely bad. If you run a business this way, I mean, you're terrible. Like that's like saying if you buy a product for $10, you sell it for like $11. You're not making money, dude. You can't do anything. Just for comparison, what's Wizard's profit margin? Same period, right? Wizard is making 40% profit margin. If you look at even year to date with a bad quarter that they just had, they're still at 44% profit margin. It's insanely good. Yeah, it's really high. I mean, this profit margin is like basically what you would see in like, I think, like, what are some high profit, like software, right? Those kind of things, like technology. I mean, honestly, if Wizard was its own company, it'd be insanely profitable. It'd be insanely, like, probably highly traded company. The problem is all of Hasbro is bringing this company down, right? So I started looking, again deep into the details of the finances of what's happening. So like, what does Hasbro do with all the money and the cash that it generates, right? So for Cranium, for example, they bought it for $77 million. Basically, it's not going anywhere. It's like Monopoly, keep selling the same game over and over and over again until everyone has a copy and nobody wants to play it, right? There's no innovation in that. And these games aren't games that you're going to put on your shelf and just keep playing over and over again anyways, because you're going to have competition with other games. It's not even like Netflix, where every night you can sit down, watch some Netflix and chill, right? You can't be like playing board games every day. That's not how that works, man. Like, Eurogame is also taking over everything, right? You got Catan, you got like simple games. Like Before, in the old school days, maybe 10, 20 years ago, you go to somebody's house and you're, oh, let's play Monopoly. Let's play like Life. You guys remember Life? These kind of simple games. Nowadays, dude, Agricola, Catan, like, I don't know, like Carcassonne, like all these just Bane, all these like Euro games that people just play, and these are like the simple ones, right? And then you get more complicated and people are playing freaking like what's the gigantic Gloomhaven, right? RPG games. Or you play like what I like to play, Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones, right? Haven't played that for a long time, but it's a great game, right? Or Scythe, other great games like this. These are IPs that's making money because they're selling something that's new, innovative. But like over here, we got Hasbro selling Monopoly over and over again and failing. Basically, at this point, it costs them as much to make Monopoly, ship it to a store, as they're basically making back. Because the stores probably selling that shit at discount, and they're not making any money. So basically, the margin that Hasbro gets is like minimal. That's why the revenue is so high, because they're still selling stuff. But they're barely making any money because they're selling at cost. Okay, so that's all the product side, right? Minus Wizards. Let's talk about the entertainment side. Did you guys know Hasbro is like entertainment company? Okay, cool. So what crazy like entertainment companies has Hasbro like purchased to help with their top line revenue? They bought Entertainment One. Okay, have you ever heard of this company? I haven't. Apparently they make all these like little kids TV shows. Cool. Hey, nothing against that. I think little kids TV shows probably can make a lot of money if you know how to do the right advertising, know how to promote your stuff, right? But the problem is you have to have strong IP. So what is part of their entertainment portfolio that's strong IP? The only thing I saw was Power Rangers, My Little Pony, stuff like this, right? But again, very niche audiences. Whereas, okay, cool. So they don't have strong IPs. Cool. How much did you pay for this purchase? In 2019, when they bought Entertainment One, they paid $4 billion. Okay. Now, all these like numbers for large companies may not mean anything to you guys, right? So I don't know if you know 4 billion is too much, too little. Honestly, I didn't even know either. So I just started looking up, well, what are some other big entertainment companies that got bought in 2019? Well, let's start with this. Have you ever heard of a small company called Marvel? What about one called Lucasfilms? Potentially maybe some of their stuff called Star Wars. Have you ever heard of those IPs? Guess how much Disney paid for Lucasfilms? Star Wars. Basically bought all of Star Wars, right? $4 billion. Guess how much they paid for Marvel? $4 billion. Guess how much Hasbro paid for Entertainment One? $4 billion. Do you see the problem? They're getting ripped off. They're going to this stupid deal. They're buying things that aren't even worth half as much IP-wise, and they're paying premium for it. The people who are running this company are idiots. Like, I don't know how to tell. Like, there's nothing. Did you know back in June this year, 2022, there was a activist hedge fund investor, whatever, that had a good chunk of stock in Hasbro that wanted to split out Wizard as a separate company because they felt like Hasbro was basically pulling the whole entire stock down. If they split off Wizards into a separate company, Wizard can basically trade under a different ticker, right? And then probably will profit a lot more. It's an insanely good idea, but it's a terrible idea if you're Hasbro, because here's why. When you have subsidiaries that make money, make a lot of money, and the ones that fail and lose money, when you put it all together, your business looks okay, right? But if you split it off, the business that is making a ton of money, a shit ton of money, is going to look great or amazing, right? We're talking like tech level amazing, like Uber, Lyft, Netflix, Tesla, this kind of amazing, right? And then the leftover like shell of Hasbro is going to be total garbage, and everyone's going to want to dump that stock. Of course, they don't want this to happen to their company. The other part of it too is, remember, there are people who run these companies. They have egos. They don't want to be shown that they were wrong. They don't want to prove that they're wrong. So this is what's happening. If you look at like the smart people, the smart money of Wall Street, they understand. Why would they do this activist investor shit if they didn't think it was important? If they didn't understand what is actually happening internally at Hasbro? I felt this way. Like I didn't have the raw number because I've never really looked at Hasbro's earnings until recently. I always felt this way. I kind of had an inkling this was happening, but I had no proof of it, right? And so when this whole activist investor takeover thing happened, I was kind of like, man, these guys need to kind of stop rah-rahing whatever, causing problems. But now I'm thinking, dude, they're right. I didn't buy Hasbro stock. I didn't buy Hasbro stock wanting to buy Hasbro. I wanted to buy Wizard of the Coast stocks. But they're not a private companies. They're not a separate companies. You can't trade and buy their own stock. You have to buy the larger, corporate company stocks. So it's insanely bad. Yeah, most of the divisions at Hasbro don't even make money. Basically, they're just sitting on IPs, I guess, that are waiting to be sold at Barnes & Nobles, right? And, other than Magic, the other thing that's making a ton of money at Hasbro is Dungeons and Dragons, which is also, again, owned by Wizards. Yeah. So that's the situation we're in. Furthermore, making this even worse is that you'll notice that Hasbro is just not willing to change. They know that they suck, but they really they don't believe it. So they just think, oh, we could just keep doing what we're doing. We don't need to change. We don't need to do anything different, right? Yeah. Any company that grows for a long, long, long time, that are not willing to change their ways at all, right, will always, always, always fall behind eventually. Yeah. And at this point, given that Wizard is pulling all the weight of this company, they might as well call this company Wizard of the Coast featuring Hasbro, because it's, Wizard's kind of leading the ship here, and Hasbro is just kind of riding the coattails of Wizards, right? Because they refuse to evolve, because they refuse to actually make good decisions, they will eventually die. Now, again, it's the thing that you have to remember is Hasbro as a company is not a consumer staple, right? What companies don't have to evolve and they will live forever? Grocery chains, consumer staples, right? Dude, like toilet paper companies, soda makers, Coca-Cola, they don't need to change. They don't need to do anything. You know why? They're staples. I would argue you probably don't need to drink Coca-Cola every day. Some people would probably be, they would probably argue with me against that. They might say, hey, you know what? You do need to drink Coca-Cola every day. Fine. But I think we can both agree that you're going to have to eat food every day. You're going to have to use toilet paper every day. These are staples. So no innovation, no change, no evolution is necessary for these kind of companies to succeed. You can just keep making toilet paper and you can win. Problem with Monopoly, the problem with like My Little Pony, the problem with all this other stuff is it's not a consumer staple. You got to keep changing. I mean, at this point, Hasbro sells Marvel toys simply because Marvel is still popular. Imagine if Disney screws up and Marvel as an IP gets really wrecked, right? Then they're going to lose those toy sales too. And those toy sales aren't even going to be good. Again, the margins aren't even good on that business. That's the other thing. Wizard has amazingly good margins compared to Hasbro, the larger company. And the entertainment side, don't even get me started. I mean, these guys are losing money. They're negative, right? There's some quarters they're positive, some quarters they're negative. Basically, they are just kind of starting, right? So normally when you start a new branch arm in a company or something like that, you probably will lose money for a little bit. Part of it is because you have to intake some initial costs to start that business. Part of it is that also you're figuring things out, right? So you don't really know what makes money, so you're kind of figuring things out. I would hope, though, that if you're buying a company, not just building it yourself, that it would be kind of profitable out of the gate, right? Otherwise, you shouldn't be buying a company for a certain amount of money if you can't even make money right away with it. Imagine like you buy a house, right, a rental, and you're trying to rent it out, and you're saying, hey, I want to make some money on this thing. Imagine if you buy a house and set it as a rental, you actually end up losing money all the time. And I don't mean you lose money because you have to pay back like interest, those kind of things. I mean, you pay for the whole house in cash. And after renting the house, you still lose money. That sounds like you made a really bad purchase, right? Maybe you bought the house so expensive that you can't, but the house is actually not worth that much, and you can't rent it for very high amount, and so you're basically paying a ton in property tax, and you can't recoup that with the rent. I don't know, but that's what it looks like on the entertainment side of what Hasbro's doing. So It's pretty bad, man. Okay. Yeah. So why is Wizards still succeeding despite like the entire market being bad? Remember, Wizards is also making what I would call a consumer discretionary product, right? If wallets tighten, I'm gonna buy less packs. I'm gonna buy less products of Wizard. I don't really need it to live. So why is Wizards still continue bringing money? Because it's innovative, like it's new, it's fresh. I mean, just look at what they're doing. I mean, every year. So here's a really great way to think about it. Every time people think, hey, Magic's too stale, or the things that WOTC is doing is like boring. Think back, even a year ago, 2 years ago, we didn't have Secret Lair. Walking Dead was not a conversation. We didn't have unsets that had black border. Now, you can disagree with all these things. You can say, I hate all these decisions. But you can't disagree with me by the fact that these are new things that are coming to Magic, right? We had block system, we killed that. Now we just have sets, right? Every set is trying new things. Some things fail, some things are successful. Companions, I think on the face, Companion was really cool. It's a great system, it's fun. But I think in practice, in play, it's actually not so fair, so it's not a great system overall, right? But there are a lot of other mechanics. I think, honestly, blood tokens are going to be great. I mean, I'm pretty sure that system is going to be, it's going to be much better than Clue, honestly, as a system. It just feels a lot more clean, right? Food token by now is pretty much evergreen. Treasure creation, pretty much evergreen, right? They're creating new systems, whether we like it or not. They are moving forward, and that's why you keep buying the product, because it's good. I mean, we're freaking bringing back Meld, and we got like Urza and Mishra fighting each other. This is insanely cool. I mean, this is the type of things that we need to be doing. Now, if Wizard has the power, the goal to make a real story on top of this, right? Really stop copying other people's stories. Make your own story. Make a true like Magic the Gathering story that people can like. It's like a strong IP. Dude, this will be insanely cool. And then you could like have film. You could have like TV shows. I mean, apparently that's the popular thing to do, right? Like Cyberpunk has a TV show, Witcher has this TV show, Arcane based on League of Legends. Like, I mean, I think they were developing something, right? Weren't they making a Magic Gathering TV show or something like that? I think honestly, the whole the War of the Spark was great. Maybe we should just make that happen. Make that whole entire history of like the Weatherlight folks fighting against Nico Bolas, like pretty cool. Let's make that happen, right? I think it's fine. The problem is that we have to continue the story. We have to make things that are meaningful, right? For example, here's a really big part that I just think the Wizard really missed with Neon Dynasty, right? They did all that anime stuff, with the whole thing. And, like the whole time I was thinking, so Kaito is like friends with the Wandering Emperor as kids, right? They were like, kind of like, there's this little bit of like a love story going on, whatever. So why did Tamio get completed? That made no sense. They should have completed Wandering Emperor, right? And really followed the whole story. I think that would be crazy. And then put a bunch of this stuff. Stop making like shorts. Stop making anime shorts. Like I just want to see. I want to see that Neon Dynasty TV show. Imagine if every single set of Magic the Gathering they come out with some like anime styled or computer graphics styled, or even real people acted. I just think it might be a little too jarring. But if you guys ever watch like on Netflix, was it like Love, Death, and Robots or something, right? Imagine that, like either a short or a 4-episode type of short seasonal thing that follows every single set of Magic, and do it pre-release. Like, how do you tell a story? We used to tell a story with cards with the flavor text, and there's some supplementary books and comic books. But imagine if they did that. Use the Entertainment One arm to go create the shit, right? You bought the fucking Entertainment arm. You can't even make like good storytelling things that boost your other brands. Imagine if they made this, work with Netflix, put it into their catalog. People are watching this shit and they're like, oh, what's going on? Who's Kaito? Who's freaking Wandering Emperor? Oh, there's a game that goes with this thing? Cool. Like, are there a lot of people playing this shit? Oh shit, there's like a local game store. Go there, check this shit out. You understand? Like, you can build a whole brand this way. This is how you build the whole cinematic universe and all this stuff. Like, why does people care about Marvel? Because every single film, they always tie up another film into it, right? And every film has this lingering feeling like we're building up to something bigger, right? Especially like what it was like phase 1 through 3. It's great. I think phase 4 is a little bit weak, but here, like it's too many things for me to catch up on. That's probably why I just want to watch the films. I don't really want to watch a bunch of TV shows to kind of stay up to date. So I just don't have time for that. But I don't think Marvel really has gone like crazy bad or anything. I just think I'm not as interested in phase 4. It might be for someone else. But I think phase 1 through 3, the execution was, excellent. Why can't Wizard do something like that? I mean, I thought the whole short film with Neon Dynasty was great. I just wish they just did more of that. Yeah. So this is getting to be a long video. So what's happening right now internally at Hasbro, right? I think they're just only basically, they understand that Wizard is bringing in all the cash, so they're just going to milk this cow more. But they really haven't done anything to build a stronger base. I think Universe Beyond is a great, motion towards that. I mean, actually, during the conference call, earnings call, they mentioned the Brothers War expansion pack coming out, but also they really highlighted Warhammer because they know the sales on that thing is doing very well, right? And had they known this, why didn't they just print more? I mean, at this point, I think all the stores are out of Warhammer like sets. This was a great thing they built, but they're like, oh, we don't know if people are going to like it. This Warhammer's too weird. Let's just make a little bit. So they didn't have enough supply, right? Collector sets are like hard to find to impossible. So we're just kind of chilling. Yeah. The other problem is also they mentioned they have too much inventory, right? Oh, we have all this crap piled up in our warehouse. Yeah, so in a economy where everyone's kind of like shrinking their consumption, Wizard raised their prices by 10 to 20% and did not at all cut print runs. When Flesh and Blood cut print runs, MetaZoo, I hate that fun game by the way, when MetaZoo cut print runs, and Pokemon basically is fine because they again cut print runs. Magic is like not learning anything. I mean, the hubris of this, right? Oh, we're the king, so why do we need to cut print runs? Let them all cut print runs. They're going to come to our game. Make a better fucking game then, right? Make it so powerful that no one even wants to like challenge you, could challenge you. Instead, you just have hubris. You think, oh, our game is better. Raise prices, keep the same print runs, or print even more. Why do you think you have to dump products onto Amazon? It's because you have all the shit sitting in your warehouse. Then that's all incurring costs. Remember, for us, small whatever, you don't think about this, but for Wizards, when they hold like, I don't know, 100,000 boxes in a warehouse, they got to pay for that. There's air conditioning, security, rent. That's not cheap. So every moment they hold that shit in warehouse, they're losing money because they can't sell it to you. If you're holding it at your house, they don't pay for that. Yeah. You know what? I have a bunch of shit to say, but I'm just really pissed for this video. Maybe I'll just cut it off right here. Anyways, I think that's it. I'm just not going to say anything anymore. There's a bunch of ways that they could really fix this shit, but I'm just too pissed. I'm just too pissed. I can't talk about it anymore. I'll send some links in the comments below for Hasbro and the earning call. But anyways, this is Mark. I'm out. Peace. Bye. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I turned off the camera and I really thought I was just going to stop. But I'm so mad. I'm reading my notes that I took earlier, and the more I read my notes, I'm just like, I have to let this shit out because if I don't say this stuff, I don't even think I can sleep well tonight. So here it goes. Hasbro has not, Wizard really, right, part of this, has not really spent a lot of effort to build community of Magic, build a stronger base, right? So first thing, events. You guys all know events kind of suck right now, and all the events that are official by Magic, it's like, hey, how can we host an event and grab more cash? Oh, yeah, this event that's going to happen, let me tell you about that shit like a month before it happens. So you can really pay the highest price for tickets, plane tickets, and hotel and everything, ahead of this event. Super smart, right? Oh, and guess what? You paid for a door entry fee to the event? Cool, here's a booster pack or 2. And here's like one promo that we can print, and we normally give it out to the store, but you have to like fly to Las Vegas to get this thing. Oh, and you want to play in this event? You got to pay up for that event too. Oh, you want to play in this event? You got to pay for that. You want to play Commander? Dude, did you buy the Commander Pass? No? Oh, here's one table in the corner. Good luck, trying to get that table and fight over those 200 other people. What kind of insane fucking shit is this? Make an event. Even if you lose money on the event, it's fine. The point of the event is not to make more money. The point of the event is to drive hype. Dude, imagine they do this event. Free entry. And if you bring a friend, you both get some crazy ass bring a friend promo. Just like think about all the different ways they could bring more players to this game, right? Oh, bring a friend. We're gonna give them a free commander deck, so you guys can all like have fun. If your friend doesn't have a commander deck, we'll give them a free precon. You probably don't care about a precon, and they probably have a bunch of shit sitting in the warehouse anyways. Okay, cool. You gave out 2,000 commander decks at an event. Who cares, dude? Like, really? I mean, I think the beta draft is awesome. I think it's super hyped to like have people draft beta. I just think that like having all these events that are all paid is so stupid. Okay, and let's be honest, like bring back competitive Magic, man. Like what is going on? I'm not even a serious player, and to be honest, I probably couldn't sit there for a whole weekend watching competitive Magic at a GP or whatever. But holy crap, I was like just surfing YouTube the other day, and I was watching all this like stuff from like 1996 and 97, 98, 2000. They had this Japan one where one of the players was like American, the other one's Japanese. They couldn't really even speak to each other. I think the cards they were playing were all English though, right? But I was just like, holy crap, they're having this game across cultural and language barriers, and it was fine. I mean, they were having a great time, the two players. I mean, as far as I could tell, right? Dude, half the cards, I don't know what they do. I don't know the combos of, all the stuff back then. But it looked damn fun on the TV just watching them do this, right? Dude, the quality was so bad, I couldn't read the cards. They didn't have any of the, stuff on the side to show you what cards they are or whatever. It was still fun, right? All this old school Magic stuff, it's just so fun. And the other thing that you also miss is it's not really about any specific game. It's about the memories that you built. Because some player's going to say some shit and that's going to be like memed forever. That, there's a weird ass combo or this crazy like low percent thing that's going to happen. Everyone's going to hype over that for years and years and years in the future. It's not about having like a showcase match between best player and best player 2. It's about all the players and filming all this stuff so you have content for the future. So that you can say, hey, remember that one time this guy did this crazy thing where he almost lost but he came back? Even if that was like top 32, that would still be things that people can remember for the future. And that's what you want to build. You remember the guy who like rare drafted at the finals? You know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff you need to have. That's why you need to bring back competitive Magic and really make it, film it, do all this stuff. Support it, right? Make the players want to do this. If you just say, hey, by the way, play competitive, and if you win, you get to be part of a beta draft. No one's really going to care. Give them competitive money. Put a bunch of sponsors on this stuff, Get people to come. People will show up. Look at Flesh and Blood, man. They're running events all over the place, and it's welcoming. It's free. You just show up. If you want to play, you bring your deck, pay an entry fee, and you get in the tournament. It's crazy that Wizard has built this brand and they're just kind of squandering it. This is like insane that we're at this point right here. Okay, and then let's talk about spectator sport, right? Wizard, apparently I did a little research, right? Wizard has built a bunch of these like Magic apps, games in the past, right? So you had, the most successful one is obviously Magic Online, MTGO, but like Arena, there was duels of Planeswalkers. I remember playing some shit like in college on my Xbox or something, but it was like limited to 6 decks. Then you could win more cards in the deck if you win games or something like that. It was cool, but it was very limited because the card pool is small, right? And you can only play a certain amount of people or types of events or matches. It was still fun when you played it because every game was a little different because you drew different cards. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, all this time, all these years of doing games like this, and now Wizards trying to push Arena because they realize, it's a lot easier to make money with a game that, like, basically you can't trade, so they have to buy all the stuff from us, right, from Wizards. Cool, good. I'm fine with it. Dude, honestly, there's a lot of pay-to-win games. People were fine with Hearthstone. It's not like people were hating Hearthstone for doing the same thing, right? Just make it easier. If you want to make this thing competitive, provide a mode where people can actually spectate the entire match. I don't think that's such a problem. The fact that for official tournaments that are hosted in Arena, right, for the official stream, you know how they stream this shit right now? They have to have 2 players sharing their screen. It's like you're on a Zoom call and you got 2 players sharing the screen, and they do a little bit of magic of like combining the 2 screens together so you can see one player's hand on top and one player's hand on the bottom. It's like the most facepalm shit you can ever imagine in your life, right? You have all this money coming into a game and you are trying to make a competitive sport, but you don't even add any sort of like spectator mode. What kind of BS is this, dude? Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be one where, oh, you have like 17,000 people all tuning in, can watch that one match live. That would be very cool, right? Imagine you like built that into the game where like at any moment, if 2 pros or whoever wants to play a match, they can turn on spectator mode and everyone can just join and watch. Imagine if you could like watch like how some of these pros, and you could maybe set up a mode where maybe you don't show the hands, right? Because you want to prevent cheating or whatever. Maybe you just don't show the hands, right? That's fine. I just see what's on the table. That's okay. You know, we can guess at what their decks are going to do because they're playing standard, so the deck list is kind of open anyways, right? It's insane that we don't have anything like this. But think about how hype that would be. And then you add like a chat bar on the side. People can talk to each other and be like, oh, dude, he's totally going to play this card. Oh, I don't think he has it, you know. Dude, instantly you would make people want to spend more hours in Arena. And here's the thing, right? Most people who develop like mobile games know this. The more time you have players spending in your game, the more money they'll spend. Duh. Easy, right? So it's crazy that they haven't thought of any of these ideas, or maybe they thought about them, but they're just not doing them. I don't know why. It takes like, what, 2 years, and Arena just, all it does is just adds more cards. Adds a mode like Alchemy that nobody really cares about or wants. It's crazy to me that they don't care. They like built this beautiful looking thing. By the way, Arena is a very beautiful looking like client app and everything. I think it's probably the cleanest Magic experience you can have. The problem is it's just like, it's like everything else, right? It's like half built. It's like, oh, okay, it's kind of like a demo, and then we're still in beta, right? It's how it feels. Dude, get spectator mode now. Make that shit easy for people to go stream. Make it easy for people to go spectate that, right? And the really, really sad truth about this whole thing is, at the core, Hasbro is pushing people at Wizards. I don't actually think. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think about things like this, right? Oh, you know, Wizards making a lot of money, so why can't they internally demand Hasbro to, you know, back off and they can do whatever they want? The reality is this: if you're asking this kind of questions, you probably have never worked at corporate America before, right? Basically, here's how it works. When management gives you like, you know, numbers and whatever, you know, pushing you to do something, most people are not going to be so motivated to lose their job to go and raise their hand and say, you know what, that's not the right thing to do. Why? Why risk your neck, right? You might not agree with it, but they pretty much just won't speak up, and they're just going to continue to go about it and kind of let it happen, right? So if you think about what happened with respect to the whole 30th anniversary or any of this other stuff, I'm sure there's a lot of people internally who really didn't like this kind of stuff. They don't like the direction where Wizards under Hasbro is going, but they really don't have a say. And honestly, even if they have the power to do something or say something about it, why stick their neck out? Because if they don't have support, it's kind of just them against the whole company. So no one's really willing to do that. So that's kind of crazy and insane for someone to think, hey, yeah, they're gonna do the right thing. They're making a lot of money. Why don't they say something? So that's what happens in a lot of companies like this, right? You have people up top who don't understand what's happening on the bottom, where all the war, like, you know, all the battles, the wars happening, and they're just giving commands kind of willy-nilly and not understanding why or how these things work. I know there are a lot of smart people in corporate, and there are a lot of smart people in the C-suite, but there are also a lot of dumb people. That's just how it is. Sometimes, you know, you have smart people out there. Sometimes you have dumb people out there. Just how it is. I think to wrap it up, my kind of thinking is Hasbro is on a path to doom. I didn't realize how bad the company was financially until I read the reports in detail. And then I started realizing this is going to be a problem because Wizards is the only subsidiary that's effectively making money for them. Everyone else is kind of losing money. And in addition to that, like, because of that, they're going to put a lot more demand on Wizards. They're going to push Wizards to do a lot more things that probably the players and maybe even Wizards don't want to do. And so, because they have to keep numbers up. Otherwise, if Wizards fall over today, right now, Hasbro would basically shrink like four times in their profits. It's going to look way worse than what it is right now. Yeah. And the problem is that long term, this is going to suck a lot of creativity out of Wizards. And what I mean by that is you're going to drive out the people who are here to build a cool game, and you're going to put in a bunch of corporate people who are here to set a bunch of rules in place and make sure their jobs are protected. That's kind of how this stuff works. So the passion of making games, I mean, one thing that you can't fault people like Mark Rosewater for is, like, if you ever hear him talk stories about the old school days of Wizard, right? Where he was like, I think there was like one day his parents came to visit him or something, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to see the office?" And it's like 9 p.m. or something. They're like, "Oh, sure, but will anyone be there?" They go to the office, and like, was it like Jim Lin and Scaff Elias were like arguing about something, and it's like 9 p.m. They don't even care because these guys are just gonna they're probably arguing about something like one card they're designing, and they're like, "No, you can't be like this. Oh, it's too powerful." Whatever, That's passion. These people who are working on a salary, they don't have to be there at 9, but they want to be there because it's fun. Because it's like they're building a game. They're it's what they want to do, right? They're not doing it purely for money. They're doing it because it's really a fruit of love. My fear is that the more you drive numbers and high top line revenue, bottom line profits, etc., the more you suck out all the passion of the company and all the reasons why people work there, not necessarily for profit, not necessarily to meet a quarterly expectation, whatever, for doubling, tripling profit, but really just build a good game. And oftentimes you'll find that if you build a good game, people will come. People will give you money for it. Part of the reason why Alpha Beta sold out so fast is because, honestly, Garfield built a really, really, really good game. I mean, it's a hit. People who started playing it, they were like, "Oh, this is really, really fun." And it was something that people have never seen before. I mean, the amount of creativity needed to make Magic was great. Yeah, but at the same time, the counterexample is that large companies like Hasbro, they don't survive this long to just die, right? What ends up usually happening is that something bad happens, and then they adjust. They figure out what's wrong, they cut the fat, and they figure out how to move forward. They bought Entertainment One, but they quickly sold off the music division of that company, right? Part of it is to give a nice little boost to revenue, but part of it also is because probably that division is really losing money. It has nothing to do with what Hasbro wants to do for the future. So, pretty smart, right? I just hope Wizard doesn't become like this reskinning game, like what Weiss is right now. And yeah, technically a third-rate card game, right? So it's really, it's just something I don't really want Wizard to be as a game. Because I do like Magic. I think it's a fun game. I think I would like to see it succeed in the future. Yeah, so the best possible outcome of this, really, I think, is that this poor earning report and whatever's going to happen in Q4, which they're going to hit their numbers because Q4 is, Christmas, and Christmas is fueled by toy buying, so Hasbro is going to make a lot of money in Q4, and we know on the Magic side already how expensive certain products are going to be in Q4. So yeah, all this stuff is going to bring them a lot of top line revenue, but I'm hoping that what's happening in Q3 will ripple through the company and really wake up some people, change some of the behavior that's happening, and change the company as a whole. Anyways, sorry for the long rant. This is Mark from Solar Games. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think basically, this is where we are right now, and I would love to read what you guys think too as well. So I'll see you next time. Bye.